Okay, well, we may have a small group. I know that there were a bunch of people that could make it or couldn't make it on Saturday. And I think now that people know this is going to be recorded, they may decide to watch it at their own time. Um, so really great to see you guys. Thank you for being here today. This is a really important step in the college application process. Basically, the activity list is highly valued. It gives the admissions readers a sense of who you are in your whole life. So it's giving them a broad picture of all you do. One thing that's really important to understand about the activities list is that the activities you list don't have to all be official. So it's really a record of everything that you're doing in your life. And there may be things that you're doing like creative projects or things like, building things at home or working in the garden that you have a weekly commitment to that aren't considered extracurricular activities, but they're an important part of your life. And those are the kinds of things that you can also include. So we're going to be talking about all of this today. I just want to start from the very beginning. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen just so that you all know where you are and where to find everything. So basically, you will be working inside of the program that you're all enrolled in, and there will be time at the end today, if you're having any trouble with this program, to ask me any questions. This is preparatory tasks. It's basically a course to help keep you organized. We're trying to complete these different tasks by the end of the semester. You're moving at a pretty regular pace. At any time, if you're feeling overwhelmed, you just let me know or let Jamie know that you're unable to complete something by the deadline or you need a little bit more time, and that's no problem at all. We understand that you are all busy. We understand that online learning takes more time and is more demanding. So we're here to work with you. The idea is just to make sure that these tasks are done by the end of the semester and there's not a ton of work to do. So you all have already completed, you've read over this sheet about doing your college research, and I'm going to pull that up really quickly just so that we can take a look at, let me go ahead and find a college research doc. And here we are. You guys are working, each of you have this college research that you're working with. Basically for this first assignment, all you've had to do is read over the first page and a half in the instructions and then state, yes, right here, I have accessed and read through the instructions for my college research worksheet, and that's it. So it's just to make sure that you understand that you have that document, that there are very clear instructions for doing the college research and you understand what those are. Then you say finish task. You'll click here to continue. You need to make sure that you see this mark complete. So this means that your first module is complete. So you mark that complete, and then it takes you on to the next one. The next task is cleaning your social media if you need to. As you know, everything that you post online is public record, and admissions folks will be taking a look. They're going to take your name, put it into Google, and see what comes up. So you want to make sure that you're keeping it all clean, nothing that might be considered offensive or distasteful. That could just be the very thing that makes them decide that they don't want to admit you, for example. So it's really important to keep all of your social media clean. So we're now you've completed both of those tasks, and we're now, you're now working on your resume. You may already have a resume, or if you don't, we've provided a resume template in your shared file. If you don't have one, get in touch with me immediately and I'll put one in your file, but it should be there. The next thing that you'll be working on is the activities list. And we give you the resume activity first for a very specific reason. That's the first place that you'll be listing all of the activities that you're involved in. So it's also an important part of your application. Not every college will be asking you for a resume, but probably 3 out of 10 will. It's always good to build a resume anyways, because as soon as you start college, you'll be needing a resume to apply for internships or jobs. So it's a really great step and a good thing to start at this time. So when you're ready to do your activities, you should pull up your resume, because you may be just copying some of the material you've already provided there right into your activity list. So for the activities list, we're going to go ahead and take a look at that. You're using this worksheet. It's really important that you read through these instructions. I know there's a lot of material here. I know it's harder and harder for us to read. We're a more visual culture. We prefer, shorter texts and shorter emails and all of that. But all of these notes in here have been carefully written, and they really are important to your production of your activities list. So please don't just jump into making your activities list. Be sure to read this over carefully. There's samples in here of well-written activities statements, so that'll be useful to you. We're giving you this box to put the name of the activity, and then you'll do the 150 character description so that we can edit it and work on it with you before you paste it into your application. And then you have the UC's worksheet, and this you should also read very carefully over the instructions. These tips are actually taken from a UC admissions officer, so read them over carefully. They are very particular about what they want, and they also have some very clear do's and don'ts. And then this is where you'll be putting those activity statements, and there's a sample US entry right here as well. So you have that, and then you'll be filling them out as you go. So you would put first description. The UCs actually ask for two descriptions. So one, they want to understand the award or the activity or the volunteer organization or the company you worked for or the purpose of the club. And then they want to understand what you did as you worked in that club, or what you did to achieve the award, or what you did at the company, or what you did in the club or activity. So it's usually a two-step. Not every activity has that. So if you had an educational program, you took a course somewhere, you would just, talk about what you learned, and they don't need you to actually provide a two-step description there. So I'm just going to go back here. That is sort of an overview of what you'll be doing. If you want to understand a bit what the admissions offices are looking for, you should go to this website. And I'm going to go ahead and share with you the link here in our chat so that you can hold on to it. And I'll also be sending it out. I'll be sending out this worksheet or document that I'm providing, or the syllabus of our presentation today. So you'll also have that link, but you can open it now if you want. This is basically, the UC tells you how they're evaluating your application. So it's a really useful worksheet or handout, and I'm going to just share it with you again here so we can look at it together. Here they're telling you what they're looking for in terms of your preparation. And you can be, when you're doing your activity list, you should keep this in mind. So what are the things that the UCs are looking for? They want to see that you've had a challenging course schedule. So if you've taken classes outside of school, you can include them there. And it has that educational program section where you can do that. They want to see that you've taken advantage of other academic opportunities, whether that's learning on your own or taking classes outside of school. They want to see that you're pursuing your passions and your interests. They want to see that you're involved in activities at your school and in your community, and they want to see how you've explored leadership opportunities. So that doesn't mean necessarily that you have to be the leader of a club, but maybe you have a leadership role in that club, in the sense that you're really good at bringing the group together, or you're really good at delegating, or you make sure that everybody in the group gets to talk. So that would be another way that you're showing your leadership. If you scroll down, you can see other aspects of the evaluation and what the UCs are looking for. Again, they're looking for outstanding performance in one or more subject areas. They're looking for special talents and achievements, participation in educational preparation programs, um, uh, academic accomplishment in light of your life experiences. So this just gives you an overall view of what they're looking for, and that can help you shape the statements that you're writing in your activity lists. So I'm just going to stop there for a quick moment and see if anybody has any questions. You can feel free to post them in the chat room, or you can go ahead and unmute by pressing the space bar. There is a great question here from Elise, so I'm just going to repeat it and share it with everyone. Would the activities list be the place to talk about an internship? Yes, absolutely. So when you go into the activities list, there will be on the UC, there'll be an actual place to do that. So let's just take a look at what that looks like. So for the UCs, it'll be, they have awards, educational preparation, extracurricular activities, volunteer and community service, and then work experience. So these are paid internships. If you had an unpaid internship, you would put it here under volunteering. So it just depends what kind of an internship it was. And again, you would describe the company or organization you worked for, and then describe your work and your responsibilities. And this is a great place to pull out your resume because you've already done this work, and you can copy over what you've written and maybe do a little bit of editing so that it fits into the characters. So great question, Elise. Thank you. Does anybody have any other questions about sort of the general aspects of that activity list? Let's see. So would NMSQT, can you write that out just so that I can share it with everybody? I'm actually not aware of that acronym. So thank you, Rishabh. National Merit Scholarship. Yeah, so that would be an award, and there are different levels of that award, but you would include that. So on the UC application, you would include that here under awards. In the Common App application, you actually do not put that in your activities list. It goes in a separate section called awards, and that would go under a national award. So great question. Thank you, Rishabh. Okay, so feel free to keep posting questions. I'm going to sweep through this again. So for the UCs, we'll start here because we're already here. They're asking for awards or honors. Often you might have gotten a math award for the math department or a language award for the language department. So there are high school awards, there are community awards, citywide awards, statewide awards, and then national-wide awards. So you can indicate that in your description. Educational preparation program can be courses, camps, activities, anything that you did to enrich your learning. It could be an online course that you did that didn't necessarily provide credit, but could also be a 4-credit course. It could be a camp. It could be any kind of stay away or visit program that you've been on. Extracurricular activities include hobbies. So maybe you bake or you cook, maybe you you create clothing and do fashion design. Maybe you work in the garden, as I said earlier. Maybe you're on you're both on the high school team, sports team, but you're also on a club team outside of high school. Maybe you're teaching swimming. Teaching swimming would actually go under community service or volunteering, but any sports that you're doing, even if you run or you climb, any of that goes under extracurricular activity. Of course, music, performance, any art activities, anything that you're doing that is even related, if you're spending a lot of time, for example, with an elderly family member, you might include that here as well, if that's something that you're doing regularly. If your family meets and goes hiking on the weekend, or if you every night are talking about politics or economics or some other topic, literature and film at the dinner table, so you have kind of an intellectual conversation, you could be including that here as well. So you should definitely think outside of the box in terms of things that are shaping who you are as a thinker, as a person, and consider, if you have any questions, just reach out to me and say, would this be something that I can include? And again, keep in mind that you only have 350 characters for these descriptions. In this case, you have 250 and then 350. So that's the UC activities. And again, you'll be doing all of this writing inside of this sheet. And when you're ready to, when we've reviewed them and edited them and we're happy with the way they sound, then you'll be ready to copy them over into your application. So, and just to, you know, they don't want any smiley faces or texting languages. They want you to use full words. So, you know, treat this as it were a professional application to a job, for example. We're going to go back up. Here's the, we're going to go back up to the Common App now. The Common App is a little different. You only have 150 words or characters to write. So it's about a sentence and a half. It's about half of what you get for the UC application. There's a drop-down menu inside the Common App. So you have to describe the kind of activity, the title of the team or the lead or the organization, and then your title. So there's 3 entries there. And then you go ahead and put what you've done. And we've given you this box here. So you can just put all the information you think that's important for the activity, the type of club, the name of the club, and your title. And then you're going to put 150 characters. So again, about a sentence and a half description. For all of your writing, especially for the Common App, you want it to be as unique as possible. So, you know, try to be really precise about what you've done. Try to use words that really capture who you are. For the Common App, you can even be a little bit creative if you want to. So try to avoid being flat, you know, for the UCs, you can be a little bit more professional, but even there, choose your verbs carefully. Don't write a sentence and try to show who you are through your sentences. And then again, the way that you can get a sense of that is by looking at our samples. If you scroll all the way down on that activity list, you'll see some examples. And I'm just gonna read a couple of them to you here so you can see what they're like. These are a little more conventional, which is fine. If you prefer a conventional style, then you can use those. I work every spring and summer as a swim coach for children ages 5 to 18, leading practices, organizing events, and assessing and training younger coaches, right? So we get a really clear idea of what this person is doing, who they're working with, and what their responsibilities are in just a sentence and a half. A more creative approach would be, or here's one for gardening, again, so that you can see something that might be unofficial. I work for a local nursery as a frequently garden in my backyard, doing things like planting, weeding, and making succulent arrangements. So the student listed 2 things, working in the local nursery and frequently gardening at home. So if you can, you know, you only have 10 spots. So you can also think about ways you can double up in a single activity if you need to. This student also included that he listened to daily podcasts and audio books. That might be something that you think, oh, you can't include that. Actually, you can, right? So, so this is a really good thing to be thinking about. Again, the first thing you might do is think about all the things that you're doing on a regular basis, and that you commit time and energy to, that you enjoy doing. I'm just going to check the, oh, sorry, I was not sharing. So let me do this again quickly. Thank you for the comment. Again, here is the, for the Common App, you're going to be putting the title of the activity, the type of the activity, the title, and your title in the description. And if you scroll down to the bottom of the page here, you're going to find the sample full activities. And again, we've got a conventional list, which is precise and concise, and you'll get the idea. And then we also have here a creative list, which is a little more creative, and we'll go over that now. So here the student says, so she exercised on her own. She wrote, I work out in the garage, hotel rooms, classrooms. Excuses are few and far between if everything is an opportunity. So that's a really bold, creative statement, right? So the student is doing kind of going above and beyond to really show their attitude about life and how they approach things. Here's one she writes about baking. An adventure awaits every time I preheat the oven because no two bakes come out exactly the same, right? So you have these in your document so you can see different ways of approaching it and kind of find your own voice and your own way of doing it. So I'm just gonna take a look at the comment thread here and see who else has left any comments. So one of the comments here, thank you, Nicole, for updating me on the share screen. And Rishabh, you have another question. Activity lists only allow for a max of 150 characters to be written in the descriptions. So if I don't know how to fit everything in 150 words, can you help me to submit it? Yes, of course. So the idea is for each of you to give this a shot. So, you know, you'll write the long sentence and then you'll edit it down as much as you can, and then you'll polish it and try to get it the words that you want. You know, pay attention to the verbs, pay attention to the adjectives, make sure you're including everything you want. And then I will be helping you to make sure that it's 150 characters. I'll be helping to edit it and polish it and make sure that it's really strong. So that's why we're doing all of this here in this activities worksheet first, instead of doing it in the application. You're doing this now, you'll have time to revise it, make sure it's really good. You won't be pasting it into your application until August. So the applications, that's when they reboot and go live, is at that time. So I'm just going to go back to our syllabus here and see where we are. As I said, it's a good idea to use your resume. You've already started that, and you can just copy and paste a lot of those activities over into your activities list. So are there any other questions? The last thing that I want to do before we wind up today is to show you, go over the college research worksheet, just because you all are working on that bit by bit, and I want to make sure that everybody understands it. Any other questions? Okay, let's jump in. Give me a second to find that sheet, college research sheet, and make sure I'm sharing this time. Okay, I think we're good now. There's the green frame. Okay, so the college research worksheet, as we all know, we're all stuck at home these days. So it's very difficult to visit colleges right now, and they're not even letting people on campus on every single college. So the college research is really, really key. And it's part of the reason that we've given you this activity to do now, so that you can do it at your own pace. Keep in mind that when you visit a college, you're putting in 48 hours at least to go fly to a town, drive to the college, spend a day touring the college, meeting perhaps with an admissions rep to ask questions. So that's a lot of time that you put into the college. I'd like you to be putting in at least an hour researching each of your colleges. So you've got plenty of time to do that. You won't likely be traveling around visiting colleges. So you've got plenty of time to do this right. This is probably one of the most important things you'll do, because what this research will teach you is, first, whether the college is really a fit for you, whether you really want to go there and you're excited about the school. You might start doing research and discover that you're not interested at all, either because you don't like the school culture or the student culture or the vibe, because the college doesn't have your major, because it's too far away. You thought it was closer, and it turns out it takes 10 or 15 hours to get to the campus. There are a whole bunch of reasons why a college might not make it onto your final list. And we need to figure that out now. We don't want to figure that out in August or September when you're writing the essays for this school. So the first thing that you want to do is read over the instructions. You should have done that already. You also have this sample why essay. So the other reason that we're having you do your research is so that you can write these essays later. And they are really critical. Admissions offices care about your personal statement They really care what you think about their school, and they want to see that you've done your homework. So this research is supposed to help you to prepare for those essays as well. And we will be pulling your information from here. So whatever you're writing here will end up being in those essays later. Obviously, you'll come back, you'll revisit it, but at least you will have put some time in figuring out which colleges you're interested in. And this should be fun, right? So the first thing that you want to do is do a search for virtual events. So I'm just going to show you what that looks like. So let's say we're looking for virtual events at the University of Southern California. I'm going to type in USC virtual events, because that'll bring up everything. It'll bring up the campus tour. It'll bring up, you know, talks and students talking about the school. So here you can see there's the campus tour, and you would do it virtually. You can actually find out about admissions presentations, tours, and panels. Here are some here, and you know, USC is a big university with a lot of different colleges. So Dornsife is their letters of arts and colleges. Several of you may be interested in Viterbi, which is down here. And they are doing discussions on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4 p.m. If you're interested in cinema or business, they do their talks on different days, but they're doing them regularly, right? And they have, you would click through here, RSVP, they'll send you the link. They'll also put you on their mailing list. So this is how you get started really digging deep into the school and finding out if it's a reach for you. You'll understand what it looks like. You'll start learning from the people in the departments and colleges that you're interested in, how they see the college, what they think are the best offerings, and you'll take notes of all of that in your college research. So you open this document and start watching videos. You can, you know, someone might say, you know, an admissions rep, we consider ourselves a research institution. So you would want to add that in your preliminary notes right here. So, you know, and you would say research institution, many opportunities for students to do research. And if they provide a link, you could go ahead and paste that link right here, right? And just use your linking and put that in there. And then when you come back and you're ready to write the essay, when you say, oh, well, I'm really excited about attending USC because they have so many research offerings, you don't have to go back and find it on the website. You've got it right here. So that's really important, is keeping all your notes and also the links in here. These are questions really about the mission and the academics of the school and the preparation for a career, which a lot of students are interested in. And we just give you different questions to help you figure out if the college is a fit. What's the mission of the college? What career opportunities do they have? Who are the alumni? How is this college saying that they're going to prepare you for the future? Then you dive into majors and minors. Maybe you want to get a major in philosophy and a minor in computer science. You identify professors you would like to work with, and all of this will go into your essay later on. So you don't have to worry about writing it in any way that's compelling at this point. You just need to take notes here. And then there's clubs. You've got Unigo. So we'll go to Unigo and see what students say about USC. We're going to put the University of Southern California in here. And then you have to select it. And then here it'll tell you typical questions to get to know the culture. How politically active are students? Do students do drugs and drink alcohol? Is fraternity and sorority life important? This can be something that students are either looking for or trying to avoid, whether they want a big Greek culture or not. So this is really important. How accessible are your professors? So the students actually, they give you the statistics. 52, they keep regular office hours. 34% say they're always available. How important is fraternity and sorority life? 78% of the people say plenty of people join a sorority or a fraternity. 10% say it's everything. If you're not Greek, you're a geek, right? So that might be really important to you. Do you feel safe on campus? That's important. Is arts culture a priority? You've got all those things. And then you've got sort of the facts about the school, the diversity. This is very important for many students. They're really wanting to be on a more diverse campus these days. And then you've got the reviews over here. And this is where you can see what students' overall opinion is, what they say. And there are all these questions that they've answered. What kind of a person should not attend this college? Describe your favorite campus traditions. And you should be taking notes of anything in here that you find interesting. You've also got niche, and niche is a little different. They're going to tell you about, you know, the best colleges. So what are the best values? What has the best student life, the top party schools? So if we put in University of Southern California here, it comes up. They're A+ for a whole bunch of things. And you can go through and look at their rankings, their academics, what they're strong in, what students say, campus life. So niche is also really good. And then you've got the Princeton review, which also has basically student reviews and the best of lists. So that gives you a pretty, this does take time. You want to commit at least an hour to it. It'll take 5 minutes to maybe do a campus tour, maybe more like 30 minutes to listen to an admissions rep talk. You might just sign up, do the campus tour, and then dive into the web pages and start looking around. But each college should take a minimum of an hour, and it's probably more realistic that it'll take 2 to really do the research and understand the college. And you'll want to do this carefully for each college. You don't want to do these back to back, because then you're really not getting a sense of the college. It needs to sink in. You need to get a feeling of what you like and what you don't like. So that's all really important. I'm going to check the questions here. Does anybody have any questions about that research? As we, if you look at the program, and I'll share my screen again, we are asking for you to complete that by the 15th of May, right? So we will be checking in with you. Let's take a look at our syllabus here. So the syllabus shows all of the tasks. And again, this is meant to move at a good pace. Don't worry about getting it perfect. The idea is to do the best job you can. We'll be reviewing it. We'll be revising it with you. You'll be updating it at the end of the summer. So this is these are all pieces that are in progress. And the reason that we have you do this early is so that we make sure that we know everything that you're doing before you start writing your essays. So you want to be researching about a college a week, right? So an hour or 2 researching a college. You might do that on the weekend, on a Sunday, if you want to. We want the final college list by the 15th. So doing this research is helping you to decide what are the schools that you're going to have on your final list. We'll be doing a mid-review check-in with you about your college research on March 1st, and you should be about halfway done by then. So let's see, any questions about any of this? And I know that not everybody was here at the beginning, but I just want to emphasize, we know you are all really busy. We know that school is super demanding, and that, you know, you need to make time to do these different tasks. If you're falling behind, or you have questions, or you need help, we are here the whole time. So definitely reach out to us. You can reach out to me individually. You can also reach out to Jamie and I on Remind. So just to make sure you guys understand how Remind works, let me just share the screen. I know not every high school is using Remind, but here is Remind. We are posting to this group, and when you guys answer, only we can see your answers. So nobody else can see what you post. So we can respond to you directly there. You can text us there. If you text us there, both Jamie and I are going to see your note. If you text me directly, I'll see it. But anything comes up, you're having a hard time, you don't understand something, you want to go over it, just reach out to us. That's why we're here. If things are really intense at school and you're going to be late on something, we understand, just let us know. And we'll be asking everybody and sending out reminders. So that's your opportunity to say, hey, I know this is coming up. I'm going to be a little bit late. We understand. No problem. Does anybody have any other questions? I'm just checking the list here. Oh, any other resources other than Princeton, Niche, and Unigo? Those are all student review sites, right? Another one that you might look at is collegedata.com. This gives you the facts about your school. So all the data that you could possibly want to see. Obviously, the website is your best source of information about the school. I would avoid College Confidential. It's a bit too much of a popular website and people are posting all kinds of things that aren't true. So I would be really careful about going there for your information. College Factual is another page that has information. Obviously, U.S. News Report is, an institution, and they are writing up reviews of colleges and telling you which colleges are best and which majors, so you can use that as well. I prefer Niche for those lists because Niche is looking both at what their students say on their website, and they're looking at data that's being pulled by the American educational institutions that are actually measuring outcomes. So they're a little bit more, they're going more into the details of how schools are performing, both based on institutional evaluations and student evaluations. So I think they're a little better. Niche. US News, they are weighing things like what were the SAT scores of the students that were admitted, what were the GPAs of the students who were admitted. So it's a little bit more of a popularity contest, and it has a lot to do with admissions and not so much to do with how students are performing at the college. So let's see, I'm just gonna see, great, it's great to see such a show up. Thank you guys all for being here. Any other questions? Anything else? Again, the website is really, so I used to be a professor. All of the information that you need to know to understand a school is really on the website, other than the student culture. So colleges are not going to publish what students say about them on their website. They will publish some things, but obviously they're picking those very carefully, the quotes from students for marketing purposes. So it's really what you want to be looking at is, what am I going to major in? What kind of classes am I going to take? Who are the professors? Because most of the time that you'll be spending in college will be going to class, hanging out with your professors for lunch, going to their office hours, maybe working on research with them. You'll be looking for research internships. You'll be looking for jobs. You'll be looking to get connected with alumni from the university. You'll also be involved in volunteer work and student activity groups. You're going to want to have a good time. So you're going to want to know what clubs you can join. Every student says that the way that they end up finding their people in college is by joining a club. And I hear this over and over again, especially from freshmen, is it's when they joined the hiking club, or they joined a cultural club, or they joined a language club, or they joined a professional club. That's when they found people that they could kind of click with, because those were people that shared their interests. So looking at the clubs and getting an idea of what clubs look interesting to you is also really useful for your college research. So I'm just looking, if you guys have if anybody has any other question, I'd be happy to answer it. Okay, great. Thank you all for being here. It's really nice to see you all, even if you're an icon or just your name. I will be posting this video. We're going to do a little editing on it just to make sure that it's smooth. If you have any questions after this that you didn't want to post here, feel free to text me. You have my phone number. I will post it right here in case you don't. but I think most of you do. So there's my phone number. And again, if you have any questions, please reach out. Jamie will be reaching out to each of you to make sure you don't have any questions and to see if you need help with the program. And we'll be setting up meetings with you regularly as soon as we have some materials to review. Okay, thanks so much, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you. Thank you.